After the monumental news that the Snyder Cut is finally heading to HBO Max in 2021, it's time to take a look at what we could expect to see in the long-awaited version of Zack Snyder's Justice League. After Zack Snyder announced that Justice League will arrive on HBO next year, many fans wondered whether the director would get the cast to return to help finish the film. The streaming service has reportedly given him a budget between $20 to $30 million to finish the film's special effects, scoring, and even ADR. Although Snyder wanted to do additional photography, HBO Max didn't agree to that. So while they might record new dialogue, that unfortunately means that the Justice League won't reassemble for the film. And with the main Justice League cast fully booked on projects that have been either delayed or postponed due to the shutdown, scheduling would be an absolute nightmare. However, that being said, and the following is unconfirmed, there is a rumor that Zack Snyder will have to shoot Henry Cavill's face against green screen, at the very least for special effects purposes, because the current reference material of Cavill from the theatrical cut of Justice League is of him in a mustache. A special effects insider tells Heroic Hollywood how that would work is that the visual effects house hired for the Snyder Cut would reshoot Cavill's face and map that onto the existing footage. If Cavill were to go into the studio and, assuming he is in the relative same shape, it might be easier to reshoot his whole body and performance and paint out the old footage and replace it with the new and current special effects footage. A lot also depends on the complexity of the shots Snyder wants to use and how many they have to do. With the news finally breaking that Cavill's in talks to play Superman again, an insider with knowledge of the situation said he will certainly be back in a couple of different ways. There will not be a standalone film, however, there are plans to see him again. Although there have been adamant studio denials about reshoots, the question is, what will Snyder do about the old Henry Cavill mustache footage? The director is working on a new trailer for the cut, so hopefully we won't have to wait too long to get a glimpse of the movie. Since the cut is reportedly nearly 4 hours long, hopefully the trailer will clarify whether it'll debut in full or if it'll be chopped up into a miniseries. Snyder also told The Hollywood Reporter it will be an entirely new thing and, especially talking to those who have seen the released movie, a new experience apart from that movie. You probably saw 1/4 of what I did. There are people in the industry who have seen the Snyder Cut, with one person telling stuntwoman Eunice Huthart that it's absolutely amazing. Fans are clearly in for a treat. Since the cut is nearly 4 hours long, there's obviously plenty of new content involving the heroes as they save the world. But it seems like it'll widen the scope on everyone's own personal story arcs as well as exploring the wider universe. A perfect example is a shot of Ezra Miller's The Flash saving a group of scientists from debris. The theatrical cut briefly showed Barry's journey from a nervous vigilante to a fully fledged hero, but it's obvious that we'll have seen more from his super speedy heroics. Last year, Snyder also revealed a look at Kiersey Clemons' Iris West meeting Barry in the film. Presumably, this would have been the beginning of their relationship. The actress told W Magazine that her scene involved Iris being saved by Barry after falling out of a building. It's not clear yet if Clemons will return for Ezra Miller's The Flash movie, but we can hope. Another League member whose story will be explored further is Cyborg. Shots from the cut surfaced online, showing his origins as a star football player at Gotham City University before a tragic accident led to his father giving him new life as Cyborg. Don't worry, Aquaman fans, it seems like the Atlantean sequence is also extended with one underwater fight which saw Mera dehydrating Steppenwolf till he's a husk of his former self. Although this doesn't kill the new god, it's still pretty impressive. Willem Dafoe's Vulko will also make an appearance alongside other Atlanteans when Arthur arrives to get his armor, although the star will have a completely different look from his role in the Aquaman solo film. Aside from more heroics, the director also confirmed there are nightmare scenes in the cut, which is one of the elements in Batman v Superman that fascinated many fans. It's not clear how much of the post-apocalyptic world the scenes will explore, but seeing more of Darkseid's anti-life equation and hordes of parademons would still be pretty cool. As comic fans will obviously already know, there's a key member of the Justice League missing from the lineup in the Snyder film. We briefly glimpsed a Green Lantern of old in the history lesson, but what about Hal Jordan or John Stewart? The director told a fan on Vero that although the same Lantern in the past still appears in his cut, it's not the Green Lantern. It suggests that when his cut arrives, we might finally see a version of the hero. Although, with a limited budget, it'll be interesting to see if Green Lantern's role is a cameo or something more substantial. Introducing the hero would be a nice way of teeing up the Green Lantern HBO Max series after all. Martian Manhunter might also appear in the film, as Snyder revealed that Harry Lennox's General Swanwick was going to be revealed as the hero. The dramatic twist takes place in a scene with Lois and Martha Kent when Martha closes the door and she transforms into the Martian Manhunter. He quickly turns back into Swanwick, revealing that John Johns has been in the DCU from the very beginning. Lennox recently teased his involvement with the Snyder Cut on Twitter, saying, "Things don't just happen, they happen just." He then used a wink emoji when a fan replied with the storyboard art of Martian Manhunter in the scene. How cryptic indeed. But wait, there's more. Ryan Choi, aka The Atom, is also part of the Snyder Cut, and we've already seen Orion Lee in the role. Although it seems like he hasn't gotten a costume in the film, the shots of the star reveal that he's a director of nanotechnology at Star Labs. Fans will know that Choi is the second version of The Atom after Ray Palmer, but it's not clear whether this Lee's role was meant to be a cool Easter egg or if he was meant for something bigger. Sure, the CW's Atom costume looked great, but a cinematic suit could be brilliant. It's not just new heroes. One of the moments fans went crazy for was the brief introduction of Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke in the post-credits scene. With such an incredible costume, it seems criminal not to see him return in Affleck's Batman film. But the actor took to Twitter recently to tease fans after the HBO Max news, saying the original end credits scene, followed by a sword, bat, and skull emojis. Let's hope whatever fight he's hinting at stays in the Snyder Cut. Okay, maybe Syrian Heinz Steppenwolf wasn't the most captivating villain to threaten the planet in Justice League, but the villain would have been the gateway to other characters from Apocalypse and the New Gods, and obviously we'll get to Darkseid later on. In an early trailer, the villain could be heard saying there are no lanterns, no Kryptonians. He was speaking to DARKSEID, Darkseid's chief torturer on Apocalypse, who was originally slated to appear in the film and was even voiced by actor Peter Guinness. The scene shows Steppenwolf reporting to DARKSEID about invading the planet for Darkseid, proving that there's a bigger threat pulling the strings. But when it comes to the main villain himself, fans might remember Steppenwolf had a completely different design in a deleted scene from Batman v Superman. He briefly appeared in the Kryptonian ship when Lex Luthor tried to retrieve the Mother Box. Unfortunately, Warner Brothers deemed him too scary for a film intended to draw audiences of all ages. Zack Snyder teased fans on Vero that Steppenwolf's original design will appear in his cut. It'll be interesting to see how the design changes the tone of the film, especially in fight scenes that were originally cut. One moment saw Cyborg step in between the villain and his father, a Star Labs scientist, and we've already glimpsed a scene from the final battle where Jason Momoa's Aquaman impales Steppenwolf with his Atlantean weapon. From old gods to new gods, the history lesson sequence in Justice League was filled with a number of references to the wider DC universe. But the Lord of Apocalypse was meant to be the main threat to the planet, with Snyder revealing the villain's impressive design on Vero. The director referred to him as Yuxas, his original name, showing that this is a much younger version of Darkseid. He almost looks like a cosmic gladiator in the shot, rather than a galactic dictator. The scene was intended to be a much larger sequence than the brief fight we saw, with one stuntman revealing that he shot an entire fight sequence for a violent confrontation between Ares and Darkseid. But back in the present, the Justice League were supposed to briefly face Darkseid at the end of the film after Wonder Woman beheaded Steppenwolf. His head would have rolled onto a cosmic gateway called the Boom Tube, with Darkseid standing on the other side in Apocalypse. The villain was going to crush Steppenwolf's head before the Boom Tube closed, essentially setting up a Justice League sequel where the team would try to defend the planet. A later shot of Gal Gadot doing voiceover work for the scene showed off an early look at Darkseid's current design, looking a little closer to his apocalyptic costume that we all know and love. For now, it's not clear how big his role in the film will be, but it'll definitely be an upgrade from the brief mention he was given in the theatrical cut. DARKSEID actor Ray Porter recently confirmed that he shot scenes with Steppenwolf actor Ciarán Hinds, but didn't reveal whether this was part of the history lesson sequence, the finale, or other scenes we don't know about. He joked that the motion capture suits were pretty uncomfortable for the both of them. Porter also isn't sure if he'll return for Ava DuVernay's New Gods, but hopefully he gets a chance to show off the Lord of Apocalypse on the big screen. Make sure to keep an eye on Heroic Hollywood for all the latest entertainment news. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out our other videos. Tell us in the comments what you're most excited to see in Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. Thank you for watching this video.